Whoa, welcome back. It is the fucking High Tide Imbibe. I got my banner going. There it is. Never fear. All right. This is going to be the last one tonight. I said I might have a Pilsner to do. Turns out I already did it. So there we go. We got Mercy Beers saying, "Good evening, Lee. Good evening, sir. Hope you're having a good night." It's what, 12:30 there now for you, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully it's a little bit cooler than it was the other day. I think we just got our hottest day of the fucking year here. So, you know, nothing but downhill from here, right? Sure. We got Moosehead Small Batch, their Scratch series, which is the series where they do something from scratch. They make up a recipe and then they do it in their sort of like small 3 barrel system or whatever the fuck they do. Once we go to the website, they explain it better. But yeah, they're pale ale. Wow, exciting. I know. It sounds like it's super exciting. 5.6% alcohol by volume, but they're going for an American pale ale in style here. 38 IBUs, so it's got a little bit of hops going on. And they say this is a modern interpretation of classic scratch or classic style. American pale ale, don't need tasting notes. Mercy Beer says, had the Moosehead lager. I'll try to be polite about it. You don't have to be. It's fine. I know it ain't that much. It's slightly better than most macro options, and that's about it. Because it's more of a regional brew than an actual official macro. But, you know, it's what it is. And probably even lesser with imported places. He says, yeah, it's less sunny here, but humidity is still ridiculous. Yeah, that sucks, man. All right, so we're going to share the page here really quick. So they don't actually list this fucking beer on their website, which is sucks. Like their scratch series, they're listing their small batch East Coast IPA, which I don't think is part of their scratch series. I don't know why they got that there. Someone needs to really, like, their website looks super modern and all that shit, but they really need to keep abreast of what they're doing. Because they got their scratch series 49, 45, and 48 listed here. Creamsicle ale, which sounds interesting. Porter, spiced Belgian quad. This is scratch series number 61. So they're way off as far as updating their shit. But I just bring this up just so they explain a little bit better what the scratch series is. Scratch series is exactly what it sounds like. Our brewmasters are creating unique one-off beers for our tap room on our 3-barrel pilot system. So there you go. And then they're rotating on an ongoing basis. So, you know, Moosehead's doing some cool stuff with their small batch stuff. I've not had a beer from their small batch that's been totally shit. Most of them actually been good to some of them actually kind of great. I think still only their what the fuck was it? Their mint fucking IPA or whatever the fuck it was. That was bad. That was really bad. But we don't have that here. So there we go. So let's try this out. This might be interesting. So you're just going for an American style pale ale. So slightly less aggressive than an IPA, depending on what they're going for too. Are they going for something that's more standard today as a pale ale or IPA in the US, or are they looking back to something that's like 20 years ago? We'll see. 30 years ago at this point, right? At most. All right. And we got Mercy Beer saying, mint in a beer is not always the best idea unless it's chocolate, stout, or porter. Yeah, then it's still not great. I totally agree with you. It's a really hard thing to balance out. Like, usually it takes over a beer. And especially if you're someone who, like me, who doesn't really like mint to fucking start with. It's going to be dodgy at best. So that looks pretty good. Looks a little darker on screen, but it is a nice copper color. Amber, copper, whatever you want to say. Pretty good head going there. This glass helps a little bit. All right, the aroma here. Hmm. Big malt in the actual nose. Caramel malt. I'm getting like some vague citric hints, but it's really the malt dominating the nose. And I think they say on this that it's like supposed to be like a light malt character. Modern interpretation of a classic style, Scratch's American Pale Ale with, I don't need the notes, I just want to know, balance with soft malt character. So, okay. We'll see. Cheers, we'll go to the taste. Okay. That's not bad. Don't know what hops they're employing. Yeah, it's definitely an American Pale Ale. It's it's not English bitter or something along those lines. It's not on that sort of side of the spectrum when it comes to the actual hop taste going on here. You get more of the maltiness. It is softer in the actual mouthfeel and the drink flavor profile. Much more aggressive in the nose. The hops are definitely dominant in the actual flavor, and it is citric and a bit piney. Nothing jumps out big. There's sort of like a good amalgamation of both hops into the thing. It's just kind of nondescript pale ale with citric and piney qualities. It's got good bitterness at the back. It's definitely not IPA, so it's not. We're with some American pale ales. They say it's a pale ale when really it kind of fits right into IPA. Give or take. No, this is it's dialed down to where it should be. American pale ale. Mercy Beers asks, hoppy enough to be a session IPA? That's a good question. Definitely hoppy enough to be a session IPA. If the body on this is upper light bodied, I'd say close to medium. If they knock the alcohol down on this, they could get away with calling it a session IPA. Yeah, I think they could. If you really had that malt dialed back even more, I think these hops would kind of shine on a lighter bodied beer. And at the same time, it wouldn't be the aggressive overhopping that some session IPAs have, right? Where it's just like, oh, you're basically getting a light lager body with just an aggressive amount of hops, which is where I tend to see a lot of those sort of beers go. Some people even sort of get the hint and are like, well, I'm just going to make an India lager or whatever, India light lager or whatever the fuck, IPL, India pale lager. That's what they call them, right? Pour more in here. Just want to drink on this a little bit. This is warming up. It's Probably the most enjoyable beer I've had tonight so far, anyway. The citrus is very... I want to say it's close to orange. Mercy Beer says, isn't that what a cold IPA is, or as I call them, reverse Kolsch's? I don't know. That's man. I've never seen that term before. Cold IPA. Okay. But a reverse Kolsch, yeah. An incredibly light lager, nothing light lagerish thing with tons of hops. Yeah. CB Falsing, amazing review, Lee. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'd say the sort of citric quality, it's vaguely orange. And then the rest of it is kind of pine mixing with what malt character actually comes out in the taste. So it falls into American Pale Ale very well. Especially American Pale Ale as I kind of understand it to be, speaking as someone who's been drinking craft beer since like the late 90s and has sort of seen the way like hops have just aggressively become more of a standard bearer for beers in America. This is more akin to something you'd see like 25 years ago or whatever, right? It's, yeah. And honestly, you would see some IPAs that would, back in the day, that would be around this kind of level, you know, like some of the American breweries would be like getting away with calling it their IPA when really it's, you know, the hops are just kind of pale ale-ish in level. Mercy Beer says, yeah, it's a stupid style. Lager yeast. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Lager yeast, but hopped to buggery and standard malt used for IPA. Yeah. Yeah. I don't, yeah. It's so convoluted these days what they do with some beers. And then we got someone in here, Sons, the Beer Patrol, Average Joe. How you doing, sir? So as I was saying, hits all the marks for how I understand an American pale ale to sort of be. It's not as like super flavorful in the hops as some will tend to be. I think the bitterness is right where it needs to be. It's you know, a mild bitterness, lingers a little bit. So style wise, I'd throw a good solid 8 at it. I mean, it's doing the job. And then average Joe saying, I'm just here to take a break from all the bike talk and Facebook chat. Help us. Yeah, I have that chat perpetually muted now. I only dip in every once in a while to see what everyone's saying, and it's like if I'm catching up on like my fucking tablet, it actually has the thing that says you've missed like 800 messages, and then I have to click on that to go back to where I left off. Don't have that on the actual Facebook on the computer though. I don't know why that's not a feature on the actual messenger in Facebook itself on the computer, but which would be helpful too. But then again, I'd be scrolling through 8,000 posts of bike talk, which is an alarming thing that's been happening in our private Facebook chat as of late. Like I even know Lady Lee also mutes that chat now for extended periods of time because it's just bike talk and bike videos and here's what I bought for my bike, and I could not give two shits. You know, I love all those guys. It's fine. But no, not for me, dog. And then we got Mercy Beers saying the U.S. Facebook chat is weird. The UK one, We're laughing at Hobgoblin IPA ice cream. What? This is a shit you not. And Vault City Brewery underpants. Okay. Okay. Yeah. When beer gets boring, then the real weird shit starts coming up. And it's just like, yeah, you know. Then we got Joe saying bike talk, vegetable shaming, and week old meme posts. 89% of it. Yeah, that's the sad thing. And it's no different on the fucking Hangouts, man. It's just unless we immediately get into playing games, it turns into fucking bike talk, and maybe Radar will jump in and want to show fail videos in our Hangout or whatever. Like, I'm done with it. It's fine. You know, it's fine. Like if someone wants to play a game or something like that, we get right into that, and it's cool. But other than that, it's like there's no discussion of anything I really care about. Or if we have a movie night where I'm screening a movie or something like that, then that's fine. Mercy Beers, pedal or motor? Pedal bikes, mountain biking, street biking. They get nerdy about it, man. Like fucking super nerdy about it. Frankly, it's a little embarrassing. Like I want to tell them all to get lives, but they still have more interesting lives than I do, so I can't really do anything about it. But anyway, this is a review where I'm reviewing a beer, and it's gone on 16, 17 minutes now. So yeah, I said style-wise 8. Personal preference. This is pretty good. I might actually buy this again. It's not like a game-changing American Pale Ale or anything like that, but I do respect its kind of nod to being more old school and like dialed back and doing what it says on the tin, basically, kind of thing. I'm gonna go 7.5. It's good stuff. Again, Moosehead. If you only know them for their lager, and I pity you, Mercy Beers, that's all you know them from is basically their lager. Which it's a beer I like, but yeah, it's not great or anything. But their small batch stuff has been a lot of fun. It's cool to see a brewery like Moosehead, which is a regional brewery that has like a stranglehold on their market where they're brewing in New Brunswick. It's cool to see them like branch out and experiment like this, and it seems to be doing well for them, which is encouraging. Basically makes it so that they keep doing it, right? Like Moosehead is a big kind of tourist brewery. Like you go to New Brunswick, there's not much to see there, really. Well, actually, that's not true. There's plenty to see in New Brunswick, but I mean, Moosehead's a big part of the touristy thing, and thankfully, they're not a shitty tourist brewery. When tourists come, they actually make interesting beers. So good on Moosehead. I can't fault them. They keep doing the right thing. They got their mass-produced macro stuff that sells everywhere, but then they got their cool shit where if you go to the brewery, you're gonna get their cool shit, and that's a-okay with me, man. That's the way you should be doing things. And then we got Joe saying, it's always fun when the bigger breweries show they can actually brew good beer, because all of them can. It's just whether or not they want to. Yeah. And, it is a risk for a big brewery to do this kind of stuff. I mean, sure, there's a market there for it, but it's not a guaranteed market. And it's already a market flooded with tons of great small craft breweries and stuff always popping up everywhere. There's some like nano brewery or some other bullshit everywhere. And, this was a calculated risk for them, because you've seen some other big breweries try to do this stuff and just like fucking give up on it. Like Budweiser was kind of trying to dip their toes in it, and they kind of gave up on it, right? I think Molson even might have did a couple things trying, like they'll latch on the trends and stuff, but Moosehead actually took a serious dive into it, invested into it, and it seems to be paying off for them. So good on them. I hope they keep doing this shit. Got some more comments here. Mercy Beers, how do you shame a vegetable? Catch an eggplant in a compromising position. And then Joe clarifying here. More of shaming people for not eating vegetables. Yeah. CB Fall laughing and Mercy Beers. And Mercy Beers says, do onions count? They count. Yeah, it's a running joke in our Facebook chat where people get on some of us for some of our diets. And you're not eating enough vegetables. Did you get enough sleep yesterday? Did you get enough vegetables? It's all very, very passive aggressive. And I don't know. What can you do? When you got a bunch of obsessed, nerdy losers in a chat, they start getting on each other's nerves and start doing shit like this. But yeah, I'm giving away a little too much of the behind-the-scenes shop talk of our Facebook chat right now. Shouldn't be doing that. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm going to take the fuck off now. This is the last review of the night. But cheers. Have a good night, guys. And we're going to end it. Bye-bye.